Once again, it's Brand Man Sean on a Saturday morning. What's up? Recording straight from the phone. So, two big things I got to talk about. Number one, I got to talk about the Dax Tory Lanez situation. Got to get that out because people have been asking me about it. There are some unique takeaways that I think are important to understand in terms of how your brand works in PR for this day and era, and how the trends will make you do some things that you wouldn't have done necessarily based on historical branding. Now, other than that, I first and foremost got to remind everybody that the Pro Music Branding Guide is one day away from like just being unavailable. $80 unavailable. After that, all the rest of the individual products that it includes will be doubling in price. So one day left. Check that out at brandmansean.com if you forgot and you just wanted to, or you're waiting, whatever. Now, back to this situation. If you don't understand what happened, Tory Lanez has been basically challenging the entire rap game. Obviously not necessarily so, because he got upset at a rapper named Dax when he freestyled against him. Now you can see Dax talk about this and Tory Lanez talk about this in DJ Academic's interviews. I think that's the best source to check as far as getting their individual perspectives. But I'm going to talk about, regardless of what the hell they said, they did in their sides of the story, how it got perceived and the brand moves and strategic chess that you can play for yourself, right? So, number one, Tory did this whole freestyle situation. Seemed like he was opening up for the game. It wasn't just Dax that replied as far as people that Tory didn't know. It was just the fact that Dax got the biggest off of it. Just like Jacquees's remix, you know, got the biggest in terms of LMA. Yeah, well, you know, that's subjective. I'll get out of that. I'm not going to bring that in. So, think about this. Dax, first and foremost, already has over 1 million followers on YouTube, which is hard to do. When people have 1 million followers on YouTube, especially just basically on their music, it shows a lot about their fan base and what they have following-wise. So that already gives him a certain amount of views. But you can tell that he has a very YouTube-driven team and they know how to work YouTube, because the thumbnail for this shit was crazy. First of all, the title was I'm Not Joyner or Don Q. Tory Lanez dissed. He put that in the title. That's amazing for SEO. And then that's just amazing just to get people's attention regardless. And then if you look at the thumbnail, he's in a graveyard. So you're like, what the hell is going on? I saw this video before Tory Lanez eventually responds and makes Dax apologize. That junk was so confusing that I almost thought that that was like some kind of troll. They were just playing around because I didn't understand. But apparently, Tory Lanez was actually mad at Dax. Now, listen to his DJ Academic's interview. Tory Lanez says that he was essentially mad, not necessarily about the song. He was mad because he actually shared a message with Dax. Like, he did some DMs, and Dax shared those messages publicly, right? You kind of put his conversation on him with Blast when he was on Blast, when he was basically saying, yo, man, I'm not, like, everything's not going to end with all, you know, rainbows and sunshine. So that part I could kind of understand, man to man, if that's the true thing that he was mad about, when people just kind of put your stuff out there when you aren't necessarily cool with it. And he was apparently having a bad day or something like with his son. Dax just makes it seem like I don't know, bro. Like, he was mad because of my freestyle. I don't get it, but it's all love. Dax is coming from the good guy perspective. Now, what's the biggest takeaway from this? Number one, the good guys are in an era where they will be winning. Nobody is really checking for the hood rapper on a bigger scale. Yes, let me take it back. When I say the hood rapper, I don't mean people love hood music. I mean, I love hood music, whatever. But I'm talking about the bad guy in general. In a lot of these spaces, you're in an era where the nerd has more power, where a lot of these people who grew up being bullied have more power, or they weren't necessarily considered cool have more power. And especially when we're talking about being online and involved online. So when you make yourself look like a tough guy against a guy who basically didn't do anything wrong from what everybody else sees, then you make yourself look like a bully. Right? And everybody calls you corny. And then from the other perspective, that other person became a hero because now they've gotten bullied and they continue to show love. Think about Lil B when he got jumped by A Boogie and PNB Rock, allegedly. And like, he basically got on stage and said it's all love. blah, blah, blah. He didn't perform, but he just showed that it was all love. Everybody came at them. Not Lil B. It was less people clowning Lil B, more people clowning the people who jumped him. That shit would not have happened in the 90s, early 2000s. Same thing basically happened in the Dax situation. So understand that from a branding standpoint, a lot of the people who typically would have tried to pretend to be hard, right, back in the day, it's going to be kind of the reverse. It's going to be people trying to be a nice guy, pretending to be a nice guy, even if they're not a nice guy behind the scenes, because that brand is winning today. That's the biggest takeaway, right? For one, you have something like Tory Lanez, where that freestyle did what it did, and it was nice, and Dax had the SEO popping and the views. It was doing damage by itself in just terms of getting views, not damage to Tory Lanez's career, but Tory Lanez brought a lot of visibility to it just from the bully situation, right? Where he made him apologize. It never would have got that kind of coverage, because even if you have a lot of online views in terms of these mass media outlets, they don't care until somebody like Tory Lanez brings it to light, right? Somebody who's already being paid attention to by those mass media outlets. That's the difference between huge, enormous internet success and these publications that they kind of move off of the same conversation points. They talk about the same stuff. So yes, you can use some things, right? Where you can, how do I want to say this? You can position yourself in some ways where you might position yourself to get bullied or look like you're getting bullied, right? That gives you something to push against, an obstacle or a challenge, because people always love challenges. People love when somebody's overcoming something bigger. Where in the old day, you might have been looking at a bigger rapper and saying, I want to take this person down, and trying to use their name to flex that way. To have a situation where you make it look like a bigger rapper is insecure about you, right? They're thinking about you and you're not thinking about them. You're showing love. That's something that really put Dax in a position of power just from a branding perspective in this small moment. It doesn't mean Tory Lanez took a permanent L. It doesn't mean, what Dax is already doing what he's doing. But there's a different type of strategy that comes to mind and comes into play. If you guys understand what I'm saying, like this is my regular phone rant video, not one of my other ones where I'm breaking down things super specifically. But if you understand what I'm saying, it's really fascinating, because the whole difference, once again, is when you're flipping eras versus you being the big bad wolf, people are more intrigued these days, this upcoming generation, by nice guys, right? People who are overcoming the big bad wolf, right? And not necessarily even fighting back. The big bad wolf is now Goliath. These other people are Davids. So now they're rooting for those people. Even when you look at the Nicki Minaj and Cardi B situation, yeah, people have their opinions about them, whether you like one person or not. Take who they are out of the situation, right? Overall, Nicki Minaj comes from an era where a lot of times it might have paid to be above everybody, right? Queen, I'm the king of the South, New York, and all those kind of things, right? She's a queen and you sunning everybody, where Cardi B comes up in this era where we're relatable. We're on the same level. There's just a small, it's an era. I'm talking about an era different, not a Cardi and Nicki. Don't get caught up in that, because that's what people mess up when they mix the bigger picture from marketing and branding. They get too attached to whether they like an artist or not, their music and all those kind of things. Look at the way their moves affect other people, not the bubble that you're in that might like or hate the artist, because then you're not going to be able to learn nothing. So, once again, if you guys want me to do not once again, saying this for the first time, you guys want me to do some kind of deeper breakdown on this, I will do it, because this video already went longer than I expected to. I don't do them that long on Saturdays, but otherwise, other than that, y'all have a great Saturday. Again, check brandmansean.com and the link one more day until the Pro Music Branding Package is unavailable. Other than that, if you like this video, go ahead, hit the like button. If you like, you might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button.